will begin in 1 minute. Recool your sliders and take practice slides.
Good evening all, and welcome to the first leg of the Scottish Championships, sponsored by the Cooperative Funeral Care. We're live at Dumfries Ice Bowl, and in the commentary booth tonight we have Richard Smith, John Graham, Graham Sloan, and our technical guru for the night, flicking the cameras, is David Owen. So we hope you enjoy the footage that we're going to show you tonight, and hopefully we're all in for a treat of some good curling. The feature game tonight is Gail Monroe from Stranraer with Lindsay Cummings, Kerry Adams Taylor, and Lorna Macmillan, and they are up against the team from the Galleon: Jennifer Martin at skip, Hazel Smith, Vicky Wright, and Mary Baird. So it's experience against youth. So both teams had a 9-minute practice before they started this game this evening, and at the end of their 9 minutes the two skips, or a nominated player from the team, does a draw shot to see who is going to win the hammer, and I believe the hammer went to Jennifer Martin's team, so they threw up the early corner guard, and Gail is looking to just get control of the house there. So it's youth against experience. Richard, how do you fancy this one?
I mean, it could really go either way. I mean, you've got two very experienced teams here. I mean, certainly Gail Monroe, she'll probably have as much experience as anybody else in Scottish curling just now. And they've obviously started off with the corner guard, and they've got two stones in the house already, almost quite aggressive curling to start off with. Almost try to tempt Jennifer into response. And we've got the stone coming down now, certainly clearing one of the first ones, and just missing out in the double there. But Gail's still sitting one at the back.
Again, with that stone land in front of the house, Gail's going to have to make a play on it. Even though they're counting at the back there, it's maybe just a little bit too much in pole position for being promoted up and keeping control of the end. So Gail just looking to reverse positions with this one here, or a slight roll over to the corner guard. You can see the sweepers working hard, and there's definitely a bit of curl on the ice tonight. And that one pulled across nicely there, maybe just slightly down in weight.
So now we're back to Jennifer, so which I elected to call there, just bury behind the guard, was that?
Draw around the guard, ignoring the one at the back of the 12 foot. So as you mentioned, they're looking to stamp their authority on this game early, try and get their two. Again, that's the benefit of having in that 9-minute practice at the start of the game. You know, they now know what the ice is going to do. They've got a feel for it. They're not going on with throwing these shots cold. So you would expect them to be making these early shots, and then it's really just trying to find the ice over the first couple of ends here. But again, the perfect weight, just slightly outside the line.
Yep, certainly a good draw down to the tee there. And Gail's just calling to follow it down and try and chap it out. And she'll obviously be trying to get some movement on the stone either to the left or the right of the house.
Is that your left or my left?
It could be either way, I think. The main thing is she'll be wanting to get a bit of movement. And it's coming looking good here. They've certainly got the hit, but she's jammed it on the back. Oh, and they certainly didn't want that. They've got the one just off the centre behind the guard, but they certainly did not want the jam in the back. Yeah,
they're probably thankful that one's stuck in behind the corner guard. If it rolls to the open, then it's certainly the chance for their two early on. They must think that there's going to be enough curl here. They're going round the guard. Looks maybe like hack weight.
We're just trying to get a wee replay on here. The shot's coming down. Is it by the guard? It's not quite. It's just caught the guard.
Yeah, if they stay on it, they might get it in.
Stay on it. They've got it just biting probably. They have just managed to get it biting. But obviously they've moved the guard right over. So Gail is going for the hit actually. She's going to hit the front one that's just biting and try and get the roll over to guard her one just at the corner of the 4 foot.
Yeah, too risky to leave too many blues lying around now.
Yeah, especially with them being spread out across the house with the corner guard there. She looks pretty good. They're not sweeping it. Yep, she's certainly got it, and it's just got to roll out the house.
You can see there's a good amount of action off these stones. You know, they do move once they make contact. John, you've been in for a wee while today, watching the teams practice. What's your opinion been of these teams? Anybody that have been standing out?
Not really. I mean, really the main thing was that they just seem to be all trying to just get their draw weight and what appears to be quite keen eyes, and with quite a draw in some places, you know. So generally, I never actually managed to speak to anybody, so I never got a feel back, a feel from them as to what it was like. Kind of loose shot being played there and going out. I don't know what happened there. So. Richard, did you see it?
I didn't actually know. I mean, our camera angle and where we're from, we couldn't actually see it from halfway down. So I don't actually know what happened with that showing, but it was certainly a bit wayward. Whether they put the wrong handle in it or whether it did actually pick up a bit of dirt. Although one of the things I have noticed is with the pads as you come in, and certainly downstairs in front of the changing room, there is sticky pads now to pick up any bit of dirt that comes in off outdoor shoes, so that has certainly reduced the chance of getting any pickup. And obviously the ice has been cleaned and prepared immediately before they went on, so you'd think it's quite unlikely.
Very strange, very strange. We'll maybe be able to give some feedback on that later on.
I think you just call it a loose one.
So here we're looking at Gail's currently line 2, and Jennifer's just trying to draw out. Imagine they're going for the freeze here, are they? No, they're just trying to rip the guard. I would say they're possibly just trying to rip the front guard.
Yeah, possibly just icing a little tight so that if they do come past it, I think they can probably see half stone of that yellow top shot, and whether that's enough to get the double. I don't think we'll ever know. They think it's maybe a little high. You can see it's definitely pulling in there. Yeah, so they could definitely see some of that. I think that was just thrown a little wide to begin with there. Again, you know, they're now into the match, so it'll take them just an end or two maybe to settle down. You can certainly see that if a mistake is made, the opposition's going to try and punish that heavily, and that was a nice shot from the Macmillan team, thrown in the top 8 there.
It was, yes. So now they'll just try and set one at the front of the house there. They'll probably just be short of the house or maybe front ring, guarding up the one they've already got. This will be Gail's first shot in this competition, but with the practice she should be pretty much know her weight. And the shot's away, and it's halfway down. They're just on it with the sweepers just now. They're just helping it, but they're not sweeping it heavily. They're just letting it come in a bit. Yep, it's looking pretty good for weight.
They're working on it now.
Yep, they're certainly working it in, trying to get a spine in the front ring. And not just short of the house. So there is probably still a gap down through to the yellow one. I can't say it'll be a big gap, but it'll just maybe be a barrier, back ring barrier weight, would you say?
I think you could drive a bus through there if you wanted, Richard.
But unfortunately we haven't got a bus when you need one like this, eh?
No, yeah, I think a little down weight through the hole, try and tap the yellow stone out the back of the house, and either roll to the left or the right, in behind the yellow centre guard or in behind their own corner guard. So this is a real opportunity now after making an earlier mistake in the end. Very quickly the end can turn round, and now there's a real opportunity here to score a 2 in this first end for the Martin team.
Yep, certainly if they just come down a controlled way, either a kind of bat ring or a hack, and if they do only get half the stone, they will get the movement. They're working on it though. They are certainly, it's halfway down. They are certainly working on it. It's looking okay. It's certainly by the guard at the front,
Can
yes.
they hold it?
It's on,
Good jam.
Yeah, and again they've got the jam at the back, so it's still the Monroe team lying 1 at the back of the house, and the blue stone, the Martin rink, is lying second shot.
So, missed opportunity there. It was a real chance to put a lot of pressure on Gail Macmillan's Gail Monroe, last stone there. So Gail now with a free draw into the house here, and we'll be looking to put this top tee, top of the 4 foot perhaps. If they can get right in behind the guard, then that'll be a nice result. Stone's on its way. The sweepers are just following it at the moment, keeping it clean. They're now on it. Line looks pretty nice.
Yep, they're certainly working it into the house here, and they're going to have to work it if they want to get into second shot. If they want to get into years, no, and it's not second shot. It's just currently sitting third shot. So again, that was a bit of a mistake from Gail Monroe there, not quite getting it deep enough into the house.
They may just about get away with that though. It just depends. The 2 guards, the blue and the yellow, are slightly offset there. So whether the actual is a path down through there to allow the tap back on that yellow, they might have to throw a little extra weight just to hold it through that port. Time will tell. We'll see shortly whether they can make the shot down through there.
Well, they're certainly giving it quite a lot of ice, so they'll not be coming down a big weight. Again, just a probably bat ring or a hack weight, just a controlled weight to thread it through between those 2 guards and chap the Monroe shot out. They're down and they're watching it. It's halfway down. The sweepers are on it. The sweepers are on it, but they're called off. They're letting it draw. They're letting it draw, and it's coming nicely.
Very close.
It is coming nicely. Whether it gets enough, yes, certainly. And that was a nice wee hit for 2 shots to Jennifer Martin's rink in the first end. She did have the hammer, but anyways, taking the 2 is always a good result early on, just to give them a little bit of confidence. And certainly that end, you can say that there was a couple of mistakes from both teams there. Martin with her first shot that just jammed in the back, and then Monroe with her last draw into the house that just didn't quite make it.
I'm not sure what the girls in the Martin team here were winning when the picture was taken. Any idea, Graham?
That was earlier today, and that's just to show you who's in the team lineup. You can see from left to right, skip to lead.
So quickly into the second end. Playing in sheet 3 here at Dumfries Ice Bowl. Competition sponsored by Cooperative Funeral Care. And this is the first leg of the Scottish Curling Women's Championships.
I believe it's a double round robin to get the page playoff spaces, I think. Certainly it's 5 rounds here, and then they move on to Perth to play the remaining games. I believe they play everybody twice, and then we'll get to the knockout stages after that.
So we've got one game with everybody tonight, and then there's 2 games tomorrow and 2 games on Sunday, I believe.
So this time you can see Jennifer Martin's team through the first stone in. It was slightly heavy, just landed behind the forefoot. And then Gail Monroe has called corner guard. So again we can see these teams are happy to try and set up their twos. They're not looking to be too defensive early on here. They're looking to make their stamp on the game.
Stone looks good, coming in there. Just needs a wee bit more draw at the end there. Sweepers are into it.
It's a nice shot there.
Right where the skip was looking for it. Still a wee bit proud, I would say, Graham. Could be moved backwards, I would say.
Yeah, it's definitely in the open, but it's quite an interesting one because obviously Gail Monroe's team there, they've thrown the corner guard up, so they're trying to use it. And by throwing that blue stone in there first, the Martin team are actually trying to stop them from using their corner guard, almost trying to block the path around it, which now means Monroe team have to move it, which they've now successfully done. A nice shot there. But it means they're not getting that free draw round that corner guard that they've thrown up earlier on. So it's quite interesting just watching the strategies unfold, the different tactics that these teams use, and how they think they can go about getting the better of their opposition and just outfoxing them.
Certainly not club curling, is it?
I couldn't think of a quick enough reply for that, John, I'm sorry. So a nice hit back and roll, and that shot now takes them away from the corner guard. So you can see, that they're having to ignore the corner guard at the moment. Play some shots onto the Martin rinks, just to get them out of play. Try and keep control of the end, and wait for a mistake before they go in behind the corner. But this one looks like it's swinging too much.
Big swing.
Again, these are very aggressive stones at the ice bowl. You do get the curl, so if you're slightly inside your line, then it really does it draws extra. You get a much bigger curl off the ice surface, so you've got to really throw them nice and true. That one looked like it was just a little inside the line, and took a big swing to the side there. So a free shot for the Martin team here. They may have been tempted just to knock that corner guard off, but they're trying to force the issue here a little bit.
added pressure that both teams have is that this is a timed event. Both teams have got 73 minutes of playing time. That includes thinking time, and while it appears a lot, it's a 10-end game, so it's just over 7 minutes per end.
Yep, and just on that, with the times and the time clocks, they're certainly not hanging about, and so far they haven't really had any difficult ends where they've had to think difficult about the shots and long and hard about the shots. But certainly Gail Monroe is kind of up against it here, line 3 against. She'll be hoping for a good hit and a favourable roll, and she's got one of them out, but her shooter's rolled, just going to the back and just biting at the back. Yep, so that's still the Martin team line 2 blue, and they're certainly with a corner guard up the front. She's going for another draw to the other side of the house to give us 3 with the house split. And this end is certainly looking not great for Gail Monroe's team so far. And as long as Martin can keep putting the stones in the house, keep putting the pressure on, and so far you have to say that just getting them to draw in's not the bread and butter for curlers of this quality. Sweeper's just looking after it, getting it into the house. Yep, and just alongside the front one. That obviously stops the double takeout from the front. But Gail's hoping to use the front one, hit the front one and roll over between the two blues, heading behind the guard. But obviously with it going right across the house, it obviously makes it very difficult to judge it to perfection, either a wee bit short or a wee bit high, and you just don't get as much roll. Sweepers are working on it. They're all called off now. Have they got the right angle, or is it just going to roll too far? Just rolling too far. Jennifer Martin working it, and that's it. Just out the house, or possibly just biting at the back. What do you think of that shot then?
I think they were just unfortunate. I mean, you're just talking about millimetres between catching it a wee bit heavier and not it maybe just rolling a lot less, maybe even just a foot or so, Richard, you know?
Yep, totally agree. I mean, it was very unfortunate, but when you're trying to travel that much distance, trying to judge the angle just perfectly can be very difficult. And this is the Martin Rink just drawing another one in to the other side. Sweeper's working it in, just getting it. Taking this one a little bit deeper, but I'm sure Gail Monroe will go for the same shot. She's just calling Lindsay Cummins to make the same shot.
Maybe
So
just giving her a wee bit more ice-ish.
I would say maybe just a bit fraction of it, yes, because I think they'll try for a bit less movement. Sweepers are on it. Sweepers are working their way down. Yep, sweeping it all the way. They're working it. I think it's drawn just a wee fraction too much. As she just knows that.
This is all putting pressure on Gail, isn't it?
It is. I mean, obviously they just caught that high. It wasn't a big weight, so it just didn't take the Martin stone out. And now Jennifer has got a draw either to the front or just short of the front, and then if she does come in, she could be line 4. If she puts the long guard on, she'll still be line 3 and putting all the pressure on Gail, yes.
This is where it's testing them, and it's just the second end.
So it certainly seems that the Martin team has come out aggressive. They've decided to put lots of shots in the house and just see how many they can get early on. And obviously remember, they are already 2 up from the first end, so the pressure is already on Monroe. The thing is, with 10 end games, you do get the chance to come back, as opposed to most club games being 8 ends. If you lose a few shots early on, you can struggle to get back. But with the 10 end games, you certainly do find that people will maybe gamble early on, knowing that they can get a few big ends back in the back end of the game.
Maybe just running a wee bit further than what they wanted it.
Yeah, you would say that's just come in too far. I mean, now it's set up Gail. She can either go for the double. The only thing about the double is her stone, or the shooter that she plays will still be in the open. Or she just goes for the single and tries to roll over behind the guard. The only problem with that is if she rolls too far in the 8 foot, she won't be shot. So Martin could still guard up and still be lying shot.
One thing is that they're not wasting a lot of time in decision making. I mean, Gail's not given a lot of time. She obviously knows exactly what she's going to do, and straight away down there and straight into it.
Yep, so that's Gail now coming up. She just delivered the stone. It's just on its way down. Watching it. The sweepers are watching it. Sweeper's just been called on. Yep. She's just coming into view now. And it looks as if she's going to nose it, as she just knows it. Just missed out in the double. Just skinned the back one and moved it slightly. And you have to say that's a bit of a mistake from Gail as well, wasn't it?
It is, aye. I mean, unfortunately, when you're at this level, if you don't get what you want, it is a bit of a disappointment, and she'll look upon it as being a mistake, as you say.
Yep, and now obviously Martin will try and hit it, and if she hits and either gets a favourable roll just to the front of the 4 foot, or even if she rolls over to the other side of the house behind the guards, there's things for her to hide behind, and force Gail into taking just a 1 back. That's Martin just delivering her stone now. It's just up the rinks. The sweepers are on it. Yes, sweepers are on it. Sweepers are working hard. They're calling it.
It's bending.
She's pretty much nosed it though. Yep. Of course, the danger there, if it had drawn too far, she would get the jam, and that would have been a mistake, jamming it on the one in the back of the 4 foot. So now Gail will really have to just come down onto the back blue one and take her 1. So really she'll just come draw weight just to sit on the blue one.
Quite a difficult shot in its own right, because I mean, this will be, I think, the first time that she's actually drawn, so new ice. I know that they've been practicing on it, but it's still just the second end, and she hasn't really maybe gained a lot of knowledge about the ice and its drawn, because the shots have been, apart from the lead shots, have been possibly take-out weights.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Gail's just coming to play the shot here, and especially when she's lying 4 against, and with 2 of them being that close to the centre, if she is slightly wrong, either the weight's wrong or it just doesn't quite curl or curls too much, she could end up losing a couple of shots here. It's coming into the house. It's looking all right, but has she got enough of it, or has she just got to bounce off? Just got to bounce off, run to the back, and is that 1 against or possibly 2 against?
Just 1.
They're having a look. Just really, our camera angle isn't ideal, but they're having a look at it again. Yes, certainly pointed to the blue, but we'll just have to wait to see what the umpires put up there. But it was certainly at least 1 blue shot, if not 2. So again, another slightly slack shot from Gail Munro there that didn't curl as much as she wanted. You'd have to say maybe a wee bit too much weight on it.
Aye. Again, just what we were talking about, early days, not a lot of drawing, certainly not to the centre, so difficult shot. Hopefully just 1 game, 1 in it, otherwise going 4 down and 2, a hard slog at the beginning, isn't it?
It is, and especially when it's the skip that I've made a couple of errors, the confidence can go down, the head can go down a wee bit, and equally for the Jennifer Martin's team, they'll be feeling very good. They certainly controlled that last end, making Gail Munro draw against 4. I mean, that's really, when you've not got the hammer, that's really what you try and do is force their skip into a pressure shot, and really that's what it was, a big pressure shot against a 4, and unfortunately it didn't quite get saved by Gail Munro with her last shot there. So we're just waiting for the umpires to put the score up.
It was a 2. So 4 down or 4 up for Martin. 2 ends away. Graham?
A long way to go yet. You know, these are 10 end games, so only 2 ends gone. I don't think the Munro team will be sweating too much yet. A lot of experience there. They'll just hang in there. They'll stay with it as long as they can, and they'll just slowly pick away at that scoreline. And I'm quite sure before long that this game will be back well within reach for them, and they've got plenty of time still to turn this round. So not too much to worry about at the moment. It's all just about whether they can control their emotions down there and stay within the focus of the game, concentrate, really just start tightening up on the shot making, force a few errors from the opposition, and before you know it, you could quite easily be back in the game.
Oh, certainly, I'll agree with that, Graham. I mean, 1 or 2 ends can just turn the whole thing. Either one good shot or one bad shot can just turn it. And when you're looking at the way they've played so far, there certainly has been shots in play. And if there's 2s and 3s getting swapped, it's all it takes is a couple of errors and you're either right back in it.
You can see the change in tactics this end. No corner guards been thrown. They've elected to follow that stone right in and try and freeze it. And we've just seen a wee miss there from the Martin team. Just maybe overthrew that one a little bit too heavy. And this will give a wee chance just to try and develop the end. They're just going to play a wee tap on the yellow, try and freeze it up against the blue.
Yeah, but even with the last one they just missed, they were just going for this very small angle just to skinny it out the side. They weren't trying to hit it directly in the nose, they were just trying to skinny it out the side, which does make it a very difficult shot to call. But now the Munro shot's coming down, the sweepers are working it into the house. Again, are they just by? No, they've just got the back one. Yep, they're just on the back blue one. Maybe bounced slightly farther than they would have liked. Ideally, they would have played the freeze so that it was still touching the blue, but they've just bounced out, and now the Martin team have called for the hit, so they're going for the hit in the yellow shot, and they'll obviously hope to hit it just in the inside and kind of freeze against their blue just at the back of the 4 foot. Shots down, sweepers are not on it, they're just watching it come in.
Yeah, right, throwing second here.
And
not far away at all, Richard.
That's certainly, I think, what they called, and that's what they played. So it's now 2 blue shots with Munro got the yellow up the front. But equally, in this situation, would you rather be yellow or blue, Graham?
Well, they're 4-0 up, so blue. But in this end, I would say that the yellows, the Munro team, they do have a chance here of developing something. There's a nice little pocket there with the 2 blues. There's no guards in place, so there's no worries about getting hidden in behind cover or that. So they can quite comfortably throw a nice shot. You can see the nice curl there on the ice, and that's a lovely shot, just right in on top of it.
Yep, certainly a very good shot, and especially with those blues being behind the tee line, you know, Gail Munro can work away with those, try and get yellows, her shots frozen onto them. That's what she's done already, and now Martin are having to think about this. And as we've mentioned, with it being timed, it's kind of ends like this that they can quite easily, you know, take a few more seconds deciding what to play. And if you get a few ends like this is where their time can really start to kind of bleed away and they don't realise what's happening.
Again, with these teams, they've probably nominated somebody to keep an eye on the clock, and if they think they're playing a wee bit slow, then they'll just be saying, come on, we need to speed it up a little bit. But you're absolutely right. You start throwing 5-6 draws in an end. That's taking up a lot more of your time rather than throwing strikes. So these teams are very well drilled, pretty professional. They're not hanging about. When they're in the hack, they're ready. So the skip can take the time to think about the shot. As soon as the skip decides they're there, they're ready to play. They're not standing around waiting and then going and collecting their stone. So they're they're going to keep an eye on that, but can quite quickly catch you out.
Yeah, but that was quite a good strike from the Martin team there. They just skinned it off to the side, but Gale's putting another one in, and they don't want to take it too deep, but they're taking it right in for the free. Have they actually got the frees? Not quite. So now we've got, you almost decide, if you're Martin now, do you decide, right there, just send a big heavy one down there and just try and clear it out? And if you get the angles just right, you might get certainly one of the yellows, maybe two of the yellows out. Or do you just decide to keep chapping it, just hitting them just slightly to the side? They're coming with weight.
I think they're going to try and move them this time, Richard. They probably threw their last one a little bit too good. They probably would have preferred to have moved the frozen stone at the same time. I don't think any yellows are going at this angle, jamming everything. I know it's frozen on just about onto the other blues, so lots of space for the yellows to come out now. But you can see how the Munro team are just using their experience. They're just trying to manipulate the situation here, throwing down some nice draw shots into position, really forcing some accurate heavy stones from the Martin team, and because of the well positioned draws, they've just not managed to get them out. So it's still some key shots to be played in this end, but there is a chance that this could just bring the scoreline right back up again. But there's always the commentator's curse, as David Edwards does know. At the Open, I gave David Edwards the commentator's curse according to his wife. So if you are listening, we did remember.
And just an update on the other two games that's going on. Aitken versus Beavers. They're in the fourth end, and it's third end, and it's 3-0 for 3 shots up for Aitken. And Hannah Fleming against Marshall. First end was a blank, the second end was 1 for Marshall.
So we can see now the Martin team having to just change tactics slightly. They're not able to throw big shots to try and move 2 of them out. Just didn't quite get that one right either. So we'll see what Gale decides now. They've done a lot of nice positional shots in this end, calling for a stone up the front or just to corner freeze the blue, just to make it difficult again to get these yellows out. So they're really just trying to waste a few of the Martin stones here, because they know that they're going to be defensive. They're going to try and knock them out of play. So it's just trying to position the yellow shots to make it difficult for these heavy strikes coming down, and ideally if they can land up against this blue stone.
It's a bit heavy, I think. No, they're just sweeping it.
I think your first call's right, John. It's coming right in, this one. So first little mistake at the end from Munro's team, but again they've got the 3 stones in position now, with only the skip stones to come, I think. So we're going to need to have 2 good ones from Jennifer Martin to get herself out of this, and Gale will be hoping just to turn her fortune round from the first 2 ends. Our team's thrown a lot of nice shots for her this end.
Plus she's getting to know the draw of the ice a wee bit better, and the team will have picked up the weight, and it'll be maybe starting to gel there. Still some indecision here about exactly what shot to play.
Yeah, just checking the angles, I think. It'd be interesting just to see how these stones react, whether there's a couple go out or whether all 3 go out. I think
all
if
3
they
could go.
I think if they hit that blue stone, half stone on the left, into the middle of the 2 yellows, it could boomerang them all out, but this one looks like it's curling just a little bit too much. So nose, not the worst result, but I think a nose hit back would leave them lying 3 again.
Again, we were talking about mistakes before, and really at the end of the day, mistake creeping in there from the Martin side of it. I know that we're just talking about a small bit, but really if they don't get what they're looking for, they'll consider they've made a mistake.
And it's at this level, it's highlighted more at this level because the opposition usually make the next shots, so you can't really afford to have any slack shots. You've got to really concentrate the whole way through.
Are they looking to take the double here, Graham, are they?
I think they have to play the double here. It's nose hit on the top blue, and just keep control of the end. If they try and play a delicate draw down, all it's doing is leaving maybe another opportunity for the Martin Rink to lift a big double.
Sweepers are into it.
I think this is looking not too bad. It's maybe just curling a little bit too much. Ever so slightly. You're talking millimetres.
I think that they were worried about it from quite a way out because they seemed to be in it, and it was always just coming off the line that they had chosen.
Just not quite happening for Gael this evening yet. But again, if they keep putting themselves in these positions, you only need to make one of them to count.
Is this Martin's last stone, is it? Or
This is Martin's last stone, so you can see how quickly this end can turn around. This is a nose hit to lie 4, and they were looking at losing a 3, so you can see one shot here or there, and it can make a huge difference in the outcome of the end. So this would really be a key shot in the game, I would say, if they can play this nose hit or slightly inside nose on the front yellow, take both the yellows out and lie at the top of the house. Then they're really going to have it's high and it's jamming, it's coming now. So not absolutely what they were looking for, but it may have done enough.
it's not second shot even, I think.
It's lying third now, John, but there may well be a double there. It's just whether they decide to go for that or decide to get on the scoreboard with a nose hit. It may be a little risky trying to play the thin double. If you go out over the top of it, you lose another one. That puts you 5 down after 3, whereas if they nose hit, they may just turn their fortunes round, get on the scoreboard, settle down, and try and steal the next one.
Yeah, Gail's just there lining up her shot. I would say they're going for the nose hit, Graham, just to try and get their one and get in the scoreboard. But we'll see in a couple of minutes. I think Gail's just delivered it. The sweepers are following it
It's
just
not particularly
now.
heavy.
It looks certainly nose hit. It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Yes, just nose hit. Roll over the top for their 1. So that's 1 to Gael Monroe Stranraer team. So that certainly puts them in the scoreboard. So that's 4 shots to Jennifer Martin's team from Galleon, and the first score on the board for Gael Monroe's team from Stranraer. And it's always good to get that one shot on the board. And now that they seem to have got the hang of the ice a wee bit more, they'll have to decide, do we go aggressive and try and get corner guards on now?
Yeah, it was a wee bit unfortunate there, Richard. Do you not think that, a couple of times that they were really, number of shots there, things were going their way, and then just, I'm not saying it's a loose shot, but one shot and they ended up, it was just against them totally.
It was, John. I mean, it turned very quickly. I mean, they were looking like they were going to get a 2 or a 3. Had kind of control of the end with stones at the front of the tee, and it was Martin shots it with the back, and then it just turned on one shot. And as I say, if Martin had made her double, again, Gael could have been lying 4 against, and if she had been lying 4 against, it would have been a pressure shot again. So here we've got, that was just Lorna McMillan played our lead shot there into the house, I'm not really sure. Did they want to bring it into the house?
No, I never actually saw where they were. I was actually thinking to myself, I wonder what the tactics will be this end
Yeah.
compared to the other ends.
I certainly without the hammer, I thought they would have wanted to drop it short. So whether they just played it a wee fraction too heavy. And now we've got Mary Baird playing her first shot. They're coming down. Are they going for the corner guard? Yep, they're going for the corner guard. Bringing it in. Sweeper's just looking after it. And it's just going to be short to the side. Yep, good shot from Mary there. Now Gail's just wanting one shot at the front.
All of Jennifer Martin's team have been selected by the British and Scottish Performance Programme, and they're actually in the performance section, so every one of them is there. In fact, this weekend the top, or all 8 who've been picked for that performance section are playing here, and in actual fact we've got the 4 other people who've been picked for the podium, and the ones that aren't here on the podium are actually playing in Norway this weekend, and so quite a lot of talent here this weekend.
Yes, certainly. As you mentioned, I mean, the team that is in Norway, obviously Eve Muirhead's team, and they are doing very well. They're still undefeated through to the gold medal game tomorrow for anybody that hasn't been following the scores. They went right round the round robin undefeated, and certainly the result against Switzerland this afternoon, if I remember correctly, was it 10-3 they won? It was either 10-2 or 10-3, so they were comfortably in control of that they won over. Oh, and I'm just hearing from the background that one of our co-commentators was actually going to go home and watch it, so we just seem to have given the game away there. But,
Sorry, John.
for anybody that hasn't or does plan to watch it, we maybe should have put a spoiler alert in there. But the cat's out of the bag. Just obviously congratulations to Eve Muirhead for going so well, and certainly the way they've played this week, you wouldn't say anybody else be able to beat them, and you would expect a gold medal to be coming back from Norway for the women's team. Just back to this game here, we're now Gail Monroe's team's just drawn another one in, and have they got it far enough or just short?
I think they'll be happy with that, Richard. Interesting again, just watching the start of this end. The Monroe team were throwing the centre guard and were a little heavy, landed top of the 4-foot, and the Martin team were almost drawn into throwing a corner guard. For me, they're 4-1 up. They don't need to be throwing corner guard. They need to keep control of the house, and you can now see there's a bit of a mess. And this is playing right into the hands of Gail Monroe. It's still early in the game, but you're going to try and play the scoreboard a wee bit. And for me, the Martin rink didn't need to throw that corner guard. They should really are trying to just keep control of the top of the 4-foot. And you can see at the moment, Gail Monroe's team are top of the 4-foot. A couple of guards out front. They're going to throw another guard now. It's going to get a bit messy. And the Martin rink are either going to be forced into their one or they're going to lose a steal. And it all just comes from that very first shot of trying to throw the corner guard. And again, it's just my opinion. But for me, if they'd played in the house, either tap the Yellowstone behind the tee or just knock it completely out, they just keep control of the game. So Gail Monroe will be hoping she can turn this end round and force the steal here or a one, but that one maybe hasn't landed exactly where they want it. I think they've lined it up now for the blue onto the yellow.
Do you think they were looking for that just to be maybe just at the top of the 12-foot there?
I think they wanted it between the yellow and the blue guard, to be honest, just
Right.
plug in the hole,
Mhm.
and it would have been nicely set up. 3 straight down the middle, 1 bite in the 4-foot. I would have said they were looking quite nice for a steal there. There is still the draw right round on the out turn for a 1 to the button.
Oh, the only other thing is that if they can get that blue tap back just like that, it provides an opportunity for Gail to play onto there and look to take that blue out altogether. But
You can see Gail just taking a little bit of time to study this one this time. That shot actually just turns the end round a little bit now. There's two blues kicking around in there now. So again, to get this the steal or forcing the one, we're going to have to start seeing some nice shots being played again. We've had somebody just asking in, somebody called Simon, asking who we think this year's winners of the Scottish Ladies Championships are going to be. Richard, we'll come to you first. We've only seen 3 or 4 ends so far. Out of the 7 teams in the draw, who you putting your money on? We should really get some envelopes here and put them in the envelopes and open them at a later date.
Well, thank you for coming to me first, Graham. That's very much appreciated and very good of you.
Nothing
And
like
hello,
putting me on the
Simon, if
spot.
you're out there. I mean, I'll be honest, we are only 3 or 4 ends into this championship, and I mean, certainly we've seen.
Don't sit on the fence, Richard. Come on.
I'll
Make a
not. I'll
decision.
not sit in the fence. I mean, the team.
These games
I'll
are
go
timed,
for.
you know.
They are, but our commentary are only timed though. I would certainly think so far, Hannah Fleming, I would say would certainly be in the final.
Now, we only want
And
one team.
Yes,
Who's going to be your winner?
I would say Hannah Fleming will be in the final.
There we go. From Richard, straight from the horse's mouth. He's not sitting on the fence. He's gone for Hannah Fleming. John?
I would tend to agree with that as well. And you, Mr. Sloan?
Well, seeing as you've both stolen the favourite, I'm going to maybe just go slightly outside the box and let's just try a wee look across the rinks at the moment. I'm going to say if they get a little bit of luck when they head up to Perth, if they can pick up maybe a couple of wins this weekend, head up to Perth, get a bit of luck, we'll go Kerry Barr's rink. We mentioned earlier that Eve Muirhead's rink is out at the Europeans. They actually won't be taking part in the Scottish Championships this year, so it's out of these 7 teams that will be finding a champion. With it being the Olympic year, Eve's rink are focusing on that, and just gives these other teams the opportunity to fight it out and see who can get across the line. You can now see with our little antics of who's going to win, we've missed a few shots. This end has really turned round now, and there's a lot of pressure on the Martin rink now. What they need to be doing is trying to blast a hole and make sure they've got a draw to that button with their last stone to try and save this end. So we'll see how they go about it.
I think when you go back to it, I mean, as Richard said, we're so early on here. All of these teams are first-class teams. Any one of them could win any competition, and any one of them really could win this competition. At this moment in time, I don't think you can actually even contemplate picking a winner in all truthfulness.
Here's the rays coming down. This could jam on the blue.
Oh,
Catch the stones. Well done.
I'm saying that, it's opened it up, as she said.
It has, but I don't think that there's a draw to the button at the moment. I think that blue guard out the front may be blocking the ideal line to stop on the button, so the straight draw at the moment may not be there. We're now 2 stones to come from each of the skips, so there's still a lot of work to do. That blue stone may come into play as a wee tap back. I imagine Gail Munro here will just be trying to make the situation a wee bit worse and just trying to block that hole if there is a straight draw. So sheet C, Munro 3-0 down to Martin after 2. Sheet D, Aitken 3-0 up on Vevers after 2, and sheet E, Fleming 1-0 down to Marshall after 2 lanes. 2-0 down now, we're getting the signal from there.
This appears to be coming, needs to cover that well, because as we've seen with 2 or 3 shots, there's still a draw in there. Well, I'm not sure there is a draw in there, because the shots that we've seen coming down just to the left of the blue as we look at it have actually been heavier than draw weight. But theoretically, it is possible.
They certainly seem to be icing for that, John.
Mhm.
So this maybe is on here. They're probably only going to get one attempt at doing this shot. So this is a key moment in the game. This is to keep the momentum. They want to try and thread this shot on the in-turn down through between the blue guard and the yellow guard in the centre, and then judging the correct weight. Stone's on its way. The sweepers are on it.
Need to keep it straight and then just allow it to draw just at that end there.
The line looks okay at the moment, but these stones are swinging hard at the end.
Looks good.
All depends on the weight now. The sweepers are working really hard on this one. Is it going to make it in?
Yes.
It's a lovely shot.
Mm-hmm.
You can see just how much effort the sweepers put in. Okay, not right in on the shots for shot, but a very good attempt. Now, are they lying 1 or 2? We may see another guard being thrown up here as opposed to trying to remove that stone.
I think Gail will try for it.
Well,
You see the number of shots up there?
they may, but Gail's maybe just not been throwing them just as she would have liked them so far, and may decide just to block this hole up and take the 2 if they are lying 2. I imagine if you can see again how much effort the sweepers are putting in, just trying their hardest. The stone just runs out on them. Just didn't quite make it in there. I think perhaps with the ice they're given, they're going for this.
Aye.
They're
I
really
think
maybe trying to make a big.
Gail will have the
stamp on
confidence
this.
to play for it.
I'm going to make sure that they're not high on this one.
Well, she's just coming out the hack now. Nice weight. Nice controlled weight. Sweepers aren't in it.
They're on
Now they're in it now. Big shot this.
They're close to the
It's
guard.
drawn. It's
They're
drawn.
shouting on it.
It's drawn.
It's got to
Is
miss
it-
the next one
is
now.
it
It's got to
past
miss
the
the
front?
one. Oh,
Oh, what a fantastic
lovely
shot.
Lovely shot. Now that has blocked the draw.
And well swept. Really well swept. A lot of effort in there.
You can, here we go again. We can see this one coming down here. Just squeezes past the top guard, squeezes past the top of the 12 foot. Lovely shot. That was the risk, but as you saw there, the risk was well rewarded. We're now lying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellows. This next shot is very, very vital.
Will they try and promote their own blue?
For me, it may be their only option to score. But what I would suggest they're looking at the moment is just trying to cut it down.
But their shooter's got to go out, and
If
there's
they
a
play-
possibility they might leave 4.
Yeah, if they play nose hit on this, nose hit on the yellow to the top of the 8 foot on the right. If they play nose, maybe hack weight on that, they probably just lose 2. But again, earlier on in the end, we mentioned that they threw the corner guard up, and it's that corner guard that is now blocking them to draw at the button for their 1. So really been maybe a little bit too aggressive when they were in control of the game. Just needed to bring the stones in the house. So we'll see if they can minimise the damage here. But as we have been speaking about, it doesn't take much for an end to swing.
Richard, some thoughts?
Yes, as both John and Graham have said, you can just turn on a couple of stones, and we have to almost go back to why were they putting a corner guard on. It's come back to haunt them. We'll just follow the stone in. They're just going for it, but are they on the guard? No,
I think
they're
clean of
buying the
They're
guard.
okay on the guard.
Yeah, they're coming in.
Has it got the weight?
It's got the weight, and
Yeah.
it's. But is it even second or is it even fourth shot?
It's certainly 1, 2, 3.
Definitely 3.
We're going to see the umpires.
Possibly
We're going to see
4.
the umpires into action.
I mean, in a situation like this, I would certainly always call for a guard, even if you think it is the opposition, not a guard, a measure, because even if there is any doubt at all, you just always go for the measure, don't you, Graham?
Absolutely.
Because sometimes, the angles, they can look a wee bit deceptive depending where the light's coming from in the shadow, but they've called for a measure,
You see that, so
but
there,
it's
just
definitely 3 shots to the Munro team and possibly 4. So
Simon, if you're still out there, yellow or blue? Yellow or blue, Simon?
and in a situation like this, both clocks are stopped for the measure while it takes place.
Both clocks will be stopped. The umpire will see in a minute. I'll come out onto the ice. They've just gone to locate the measure, which is sitting on one of the side sheets. Here we are, umpire coming in.
And always with a big competition like this, it's the Royal Caledonian Curling Club umpires are officiating over this weekend, and they're obviously completely neutral and they do all the measuring. And if there's ever any doubt about a rule or measuring, they're just called onto the ice to clarify the situation. And unfortunately, we can't see where it is, but they're
Yellowstone, Richard.
Yellowstone, yes.
Before it is, and the game has swung.
It has. It swung right back to Munro. And I mean, as we were saying earlier, I mean, somebody like Gail has got the experience. So she was probably thinking, I'll just play my game, I'll put one in. And then Kerry almost made a bit of Jennifer almost made a bit of a mistake with her tactics there by the corner guard. Although she'd maybe been thinking, well, it's worked in the first couple of ends, I'll just stick to the game plan. But this is where the experience comes into play. You have to be able to adapt. And certainly when you're up, you have to change your game slightly. I mean, this next end, this could be crucial as well. I mean, if Gail Munro can get back in and possibly steal 1 or 2 shots now, that'll really put the pressure on Jennifer. You might see the heads going down, a few other slack shots, but still everything to play for. We're still in the 4th end, and Gail Munro is 1 up in the 4th end with Jennifer Martin having the hammer.
And I suppose the good thing is this is 5th end, so they're going to have a wee break after this end. So that'll give the Martin team just a little bit of extra time to reconsider how they're going to approach the second half of the game, have a wee chat with their team coach, just regroup and see how they come back out fighting. But again we can see the tactics. Gail Munro's gone top 12, now she's going to tap. And the Martin team's sticking to their guns. They're throwing the corner up again.
Yep, certainly. You can see that. There is certainly, as Graham's already mentioned, there is a lot of swing on this ice out here. It is keen ice. It's keen swingy ice, and that's what everybody wants to curl on.
Richard, we're just going to switch over to another game that's going on. It looks like an interesting head here. We've got, this is Sheet D, Aitken versus Weavers. The score is 3-1 in favour of Aitken, and the Team Weavers are playing the Bluestones, and they're really trying to fight back into this game, and they've got fully control of the forefoot and the button. And this was the first shot of the skips, so that's Gina Aitken's first stone. Just came up short, and you can see actually there's been a re-red line in the back there that we never noticed earlier. So she's obviously trying to guard the red stone there, thinking that there maybe wasn't an awful lot of other options. And this will be a nice one to watch back if we can get this. We've got a couple of options here. Down the out turn, you could play the wee tap on the double blue. We're just testing our technical abilities here. I don't know if we'll actually get any replays on this game. Feature match was the one for replays.
We're just actually hearing from our IT expert here that unfortunately we'll not be able to see a replay on this head.
So I wonder what they're discussing down here. This is the last shot for Team Weavers. Last blue stone to come down. Do they remove the red stone? Try and lie a few extra? Do they just draw one in, try and get the steal?
I think they're calling the coming down on the red one, where they come just a T-weight, well really they want to be a back 8 weight at least, just to kiss the red out and to lie 3, but now they're looking at the double tap up
That's the
there.
one I saw, Richard. That's what I wondered. But again, does this leave an opportunity for Gina Aitken to then get in and score her 1? Because on the in-turn, there's still a wide open space down there on the in-turn. This is going to leave them lying, what, maybe 4 if they play onto this blue, knock the red out, they'll lie 4?
I'm not sure, depending if they hit the red one just where the vice skip's stone is, that'll be beating the blue at the front. So if their shooter comes in, they could be lying 4, yes.
Yeah. I wonder whether actually the shot is to come down on the other side. I think by playing this shot, you're going to leave the blue at the back of the button.
Yep.
Which gives
That's the
Gina
shot away.
Aitken her draw in to save the end here. For me, I think they should be playing down the other side.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Graham. I would certainly be going to chap that red one back on the other side. We'll see where
Looks
this
close,
ends.
looks close. You can
Yep.
certainly see there's a bit of curl on the ice. That's why we're getting so many good shots. Has it done enough?
And they've maybe covered the... Although now, is there a wee way in there for Aitken to kind of follow it down and roll over?
We just need the skip and the vice skip to look from a different angle so we can see what's going on here. There we go, step to the side.
I think
Come
they're calling the draw down
Come
that
on,
side.
There we go. I think the tap
Yep.
back's there for 2.
Yep.
Is the red beating the blue? This could be tap back for 2.
Possibly. Or are they just going to come? Yeah, I mean they'll just come in as a. They'll just come in.
Our runner says it's for 1.
Yep.
So again, you can see just how if you don't pick the correct shot, how you can just let the opposition back in there. I think if they'd thrown down the in-turn and even came up short, they're going to probably find a steal. Whereas now they've left the shot just a heavy draw. They're just looking to maybe throw back of the 4-foot weight.
Sweepers are on it. Sweepers are working it.
They're shouting weight only, so it must be good for weight. The line looks good.
The line does look good, and the weight looks good.
It's just holding out.
Following
This
it
one's just
all the
holding out.
way.
They're
No,
looking to
it's
get it in for second
just
shot, I think. They're
not.
looking to get it in for second.
No, and I mean
Man.
that just not. They didn't have the weight, and they didn't quite
They
get the
think
draws.
it's
So
blue
it's
blues.
yep.
So that ties the game up. 2 blues, we believe.
Yep, we think that was 2 blues, and I mean. Yeah, but it was good going over to that because it was certainly an end with a lot of shots in play. I mean, I didn't actually have a count up, but it certainly looked as if most of the shots were in play. And I always think if you have got most of your shots in play, it does make for an interesting end. There's no clear things. It can always be just wee chaps and hoping to get a wee rub off something. Because quite often the game now, particularly the men's game, can be very much hit. But the free guard zone has helped that a bit.
I think it also comes down to ice conditions as well. You know, if you get good ice conditions where you can draw around, you can play your taps, your freezes, then it creates that attacking style of play, or the guddle as we know it. So switching back to our feature match, we've obviously missed a few shots in that end, and the Martin Rink have obviously composed themselves. They've been throwing some nice shots in here. They're now 1 either side of the 4-foot, so they're lying 2 with hammer, and Gail Monroe's signalling should like hack weight on that stone that's just been played. There's a better angle. We can see exactly what's going on. You can see how much is available on that blue stone. Stone is on its way.
The sweepers are called on. Sweepers are watching it. It's coming in. Is it by the second
Looks like
guard?
it's hacking the
It's
guard.
just on the guard. That certainly opened up. That was another bit of a mistake there. Who actually? That was Lindsay Cummins played that. That was Gail Monroe's vice, and that was a bit of a mistake. So whether it was just a wee bit tight played, or whether the sweep in they just left it a wee fraction too late. But either way, it's caught in the guard. Now the Martin team. Jennifer's just calling she calling actually into the house, or just another guard?
I think if I was her, I'd be bringing another one into the house.
Yeah.
The last thing we want is another steal. So you guard up and they tap one in, you got to knock your own guards off.
Exactly. So she's just calling another one into the house. And if she does get this right, she'll be line 3. Currently she's line 2 with 1 yellow shot, 3rd, and yellow shot Gail Monroe's 4th. Sweepers are working this. Sweepers are working it. Doesn't look as if it's drawn much. Is it on the front one? Is it on the one that was just played?
I think it just started a wee bit further out.
Just by, yep.
And it's just taken a longer time to get back across to the line, but that looks pretty well positioned.
Yep. So that's just drawn in for 4th shot, but certainly the front of the house, and it gives them something to work with.
So again, there's some stones up the front there that'll provide a little bit of cover for Gail Monroe. They're looking to play the wee promotion on the yellow stone and just try and push it back into the blues, and try and just turn this end round or put a wee bit more pressure on.
I was just watching the Hannah Fleming Marshall game there. Hannah got a 3 there. She could have had a 4, but they played away out in the outer edge, and the sweepers were called off, and they were just maybe a couple of feet short. So, but anyway, come back there. So they're now Hannah's now 3-2 up against Jennifer Marshall.
So your predictions are going well now then?
No, they're still open. Like, you know, I mean, when you look at this tussle that we're watching between Gail Monroe and Jennifer Martin, I mean, both teams are really fighting hard there and
has this got the
playing
weight?
some really good shots. You know?
Just short of weight. Just short of weight there. Now this could have put them in trouble actually. How aggressive are Team Martin going to be here? No, the angles are maybe wrong. I was thinking blue yellow to take the double on the yellows, but I don't think the angles are. What do you think, John, looking at this, if they play on the top blue that's just biting the 8 foot, as we look at it here, do you think the yellow misses the 2 stones in the 4 foot and halves the yellow out at the back? Nose hit on the top blue?
The angles, I mean, when you look at it this way, you would say yes, that's the case, but just let's see what happens here. I think it will miss, by the way. I think if she gets it right, but again, if it dives too much and catches the other end, you're going to get a different angle on it, you know. So
Yeah,
they're just playing
a guard here, but the thing is they can't guard everything. There's yellows all over the place that could be tapped in and promoted. They can't guard them all, so it's nicely played. It's blocking the front one, but there's still... They can tap the blue onto the yellow and push it in behind the cover. They can tap the yellow on the outside in. I think we'll see now that Gail will probably play the wee tap on the blue and the yellow at the top of the 8 foot and just try and tuck it in behind the cover.
Well, we've seen them coming down the right hand side there, you know, and there is draws in there. The only trouble is that the guard that's away out could be actually stopping the draw on the out hand, isn't it?
Again, they're just taking a wee bit extra time to think about this one. This again is a key shot in the game after scoring a big end in the last one. They want to try and keep the momentum. So a key shot here just to keep momentum. You can see they're throwing out turn. They're going to play the tap as indicated into the house there. That was the shot I was suggesting they should maybe have played a strike on, the Martin team, the shot before rather than Garden. But again, the angles maybe all lined up for a jam. But We'll see if Gale can execute this little tap.
That's a shot played now. Sweepers are just following it up. Not a great deal of weight on it. Sweepers are now giving it some attention.
They're shouting on it now. They're shouting on it now. This looks perfect. And now you can see it's tucked in behind all the cover. So we'll just wait for the skips and the vice skips hopefully to just step out the way, and we'll get a proper look at how it's all lying. I think they're looking at the rays on this blue, running the blue into the yellow on the forefoot. They could actually come away with a 4 here, you know. Commentator's eye, that is, commentator's eye. So you can see they're going to play the run back on the blue stone in the top of the 8 foot. They're going to try and angle that across onto the yellow that's on the button. The shooter will roll to the right and jam against the yellow, and if they're lucky enough they'll pick up the double at the back and leave them scoring 4 shots. I think the Martin Rink will be happy to come away with just a shot here, but if things go right, you never know.
The only thing is, Graham, I think we have to remember this is Jennifer Martin playing the shot and not Kevin Martin.
Here we go then. It's not curling enough, is it?
Oh, it certainly wasn't far away. Yep, certainly if it just drawn a wee bit further. Yep, if it's certainly drawn a wee bit further, it was a good effort, so that's 1 to Gail Monroe. So that just stretches their lead, so that's now the score up to 6-4 to Gail Monroe's Stranraer team against Jennifer Martin's team from the Galleon.
And we can see here, just needed to curl a little bit more there. It definitely jammed on the top yellow, just didn't quite get the angle onto the yellow stone in the button there. So 5th end break, the teams will now go off and have a 5-minute break. Chance to have a wee chat with the coach.
Yep, I certainly think, is that the first game off? No, it's the second game off. If we can jump back to one of the other ones, Hannah Fleming against Marshall. Hannah Fleming is currently line 1. Yep, we're going on to the Aitken Beavers game. No, we're going back onto the Fleming Marshall game.
They're keeping us on our toes now, Richard.
They are, aren't they?
So there you can see it.
But 1 yellow just at the back of the forefoot. It's currently the shot. The blue, it's got 1 blue guard and 2 yellow guards at the front of the house, and there is another blue behind it.
This shot looks quite nice. They're just cleaning the stone at the moment. They're now sweeping for line. Looks pretty nice on its way down. Has it got the speed? Has it got the speed? The sweepers are needing to lean on it. Just coasted into the top.
So with Hannah Fleming here, what's she going to play? She'll probably try and maybe promote one of her yellows. No, she's just going for the guard. Yeah, I mean, she is currently lying up in this game, so she's lying 1 shot at the back of the forefoot just now, and she's just called the guard. Particularly with the 2 blues just at the front, they could be moved, but she's just calling for the guard. And it certainly looks like now that she's back in the groove with her ladies team, certainly better than last weekend when she played in Lockerbie Super Spiel. She didn't live up to full expectation, but I think that was maybe our brother Gavin playing vice, putting her off at times with some of his interesting tactics.
Surely not the Scottish Guddle.
So that was the guard that was called there. and they certainly
Nicely
played
played.
that.
Nice to see Simon Gibbs got his priorities right. He's watching our coverage rather than the Europeans. It's usually at this stage, Richard, that we pick a wee tune. Usually John provides us with a wee song, and we usually have a song that we play for Helen Kingan just to keep her happy. Any favourites at the moment?
Is this any song, or is it to have a curling theme?
You can sing any song you like.
Oh, and that was a really good, not quite that. They went for the promotion
Don't
there.
change the subject, Richard.
I mean, well, one of my, if we're looking at the latest things in the chart, certainly this year when I was up at Tea in the Park, 2 new bands on the scene are both Bastille and Haim. Thoroughly enjoyed both of them. But obviously at Tea in the Park as well, you've got the old classics of Ocean Colour Scene who keep plugging away with their classic Britpop. So really, anybody from that genre. Have we got a large selection, have we?
Only what you can provide us with. So any renditions?
And I'm just hearing that they aren't on the latest playlist that we've got here.
So teams are just making their way back out onto the ice, and we'll get the game underway again. We're just going to watch the conclusion of this end with Hannah Fleming against Marshall Rink. So the sweepers are thinking this one's just gone a little bit too far in, are they? Maybe.
It just seemed to
Quite
stay a
happy.
wee. It was the right way. It just never drew. I think they were hoping for another half stone's worth of draw. And has it actually set up the double? If we can maybe get a better look, I think there might have set up either the double or the catch it just on the inside and roll over. You would probably go for catching it on the inside, wouldn't you, Graham?
Looking at that now, you get a better angle. It looks a really thin double. Very rewarding if you pull it off.
Well, certainly, because there's blue behind it and the blue just at the top of the 12 foot as well. So, I mean, if they could get the 2 yellows out, I mean, that's line 3.
Might actually be easier, Richard, hitting it on the outside where the brush is sitting at the moment and trying to angle the yellow in onto the yellow to split them out.
Yeah,
might be a higher percentage of making that shot. You've got a better view than me at the moment.
I think she'll just be going for the hit on the inside just to roll onto the button. It's away, the sweepers are on it, and it's just coming down.
Squeeze past the guard.
Is it by the guard?
Squeeze
Yes,
past the guard.
just. And she's just rolled out.
Yeah, you're certainly right. Your call was right, Richard. They were definitely sweeping that to land on the button. It was very, very thin to get the double on the inside.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that, the double probably wasn't. Well, the double was on, but they didn't quite make it. But I think they just run too far. They were hoping for just the hit, and the roll just hit slightly off centre.
You can see here they've swept it all the way down. They could probably have stopped sweeping after it passed the guard. Just over the top. So Hannah gets a second attempt at this one just to try and maybe get it tucked in a little bit more this time, and maybe just adjust the ice. You can still see they're taking out into the 8 foot, so it's obviously curling. Maybe that last stone just found a different little line.
Yep, sweepers on it already. Just been released halfway down, and the sweepers are working it. Currently looks a wee bit light, but the sweepers are on it.
Yep,
sweepers
you
are
can
on
see
it.
this one's found the
Is it
curl,
by the
isn't it?
guard?
This is a
Is
great
it
line. Can they get it past the
By
next
the
one?
second guard? No, I don't think it is. No, just on the
Might
front guard.
Might have done enough just to block the draw in. Oh, now look at this for adventure. Straight away, they must have been discussing this one behind the house while Hannah was throwing there. They're looking at the yellow onto the blue, onto the yellow. For me, the only danger here is they're hitting a yellow in. Ideally, you want to be promoting your own colour in here.
Exactly. I think it's always a bad idea when you start hitting your own. But if it comes off, and really, what other option has she got? She could go for the draw down, but she would have to be the absolute perfect, just skinny by the guard at the front with the perfect weight.
Can you see the score, Richard, at the moment? Is the score determining what their shot they're playing here?
The score is, I think, they're 1 down. Hannah's a shot up. Hannah 4-2 or 4-3.
So maybe the fact that the score is fairly close, they've decided just to maybe have a wee try at this, try and get a wee bit of fortune. They're shouting off all the way.
I think it's just hitting
Can't
it on
be
the high
far away
side,
though.
is it? Oh!
Good attempt.
It was, yes, it was a good
Steal-
attempt, but
steal of a one.
Yep, still a one by the Fleming team. Just to take note, it was 3-2, and that's another shot for Hannah Fleming, and that's taken it up to 4-2.
Just misses.
But certainly at this early stage, it was worth a pop. And now that's both teams just coming off for their 5-minute break. They'll have a wee discussion with their coaches, work out what went right, what went wrong, and decide how they play the next 5 ends. And the next 5 ends
It'd be
heading for
interesting
home.
to see the difference in the time clocks, Richard, because obviously the Fleming game have just come off and the Monroe game are just going back on. So there's a full end plus 5 minutes. It'd be interesting just to see what the difference in the clocks was there, and whether these teams are now going to have to play a little bit faster in the second half of the game or not.
Yep, that's right, certainly. I mean, obviously we haven't been watching this game, but the end that we did cut to earlier, there was certainly a lot of stones in play, so it certainly looks as if it was a very guddily game being played. A lot of draws, a lot of kind of stopping, thinking about different shots that were being played, and that is always a slower game to play. Certainly if you have a couple of ends with lots of hits, that means you can catch up in the time. And this is where later on in the game, if you're the team that's behind and you're having to play the Gudley game, you're wanting extra time in your time clock. Now that was a good shot there from the Martin team, just to draw one over, and I would say it's maybe Gail's just calling the draw. There certainly is enough ice to draw there. She's calling quite a lot of ice, just a tee weight, just to sit in the front of it there. The other option would be to come down a back ring weight and try and hit it out, but if you got it wrong, you were just going to jam in the back yellow one. And this is Lindsay Cummins just coming to play this. Yep, just released it. Sweepers are coming down. So they're on the vice shots in their 6th end. So they're certainly not sweepers just going on. Yep, just coming into play now. We can see it on the screen. And is it by the guard? Just by the guard. It's certainly got weight. Yep, and just kissed out the back. Yes, so that was a good shot. So that's now Gail Monroe's team lying 2 yellows. And Martin has just called for her vice skip, Hazel Smith, just to follow it. So she'll be playing a similar way, either just a tee weight or maybe a back 8 weight, just to follow it, catch it on the inside and get a wee roll just onto the button. Yep, sweepers are on it. No, the sweepers have just called off. They're watching it. It's by the guard. It looks to be sitting high just now. Sitting just high. Yep, just high. Catch it on the outside. Her shooter's rolled out, so certainly I would say Monroe could well still be lying 2 yellows.
Yeah, I think you could be right there, Richard. I think that's it, and it might just be the one. The problem is, because they've taken that nice straight handle now, does it give Gail a chance to have a wee hit and roll, or do they play the guard, stroke draw straight in on top? One of the two. What a change in this game, though.
Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, you have to call that. That's Martin just called the shot. The shot they called was the right call. Just never quite got the draw. And now Gail Monroe's got the the advantage again. So Lindsay Cummins, our vice, is just about to play the shot. They're just playing. No, they're playing the hit. Yep, certainly got weight. So she's coming down to hit the blue shot out.
I would say just a kind of barrier weight.
Yep, just a barrier weight.
A wee touch high in the guard.
Oh no, she's caught the guard. They certainly didn't want to play that. Opened it up.
Everything sitting back tee as well, so.
So I mean that was a mistake from Gail Monroe's team there. Just catching the guard. They wanted to be just inside the guard to hit the blue Martin Stone. Now Martin get another draw down. They'll just be coming down, draw weight by the guard just onto the 4 foot.
You can see again the amount of ice they are taking for that. They're expecting a reasonable big draw here.
That's it away. Sweepers are on it. Sweepers are on it. Try to hold it. Yep, they're working away at it. It looks wide just now. They must be sweeping for weight. They're certainly coming by the guard by a lot. It's light. And they certainly didn't want that. They wanted it in the house. Because you've got Gail Monroe, 1 yellow shot, possibly 2 yellow shots. They're just thinking about drawing the other side now, I think.
And who's got the hammer again, Richard? You can see it a bit better.
Currently it's Jennifer Martin's got the hammer here.
Right.
So
okay.
blue has got the hammer. So Gail's lying shot, possibly 2. Gail's just got to try and draw one to the other side of the house. But Jennifer Martin has got the hammer. Blue's got the hammer.
We've not really seen many draws round this side, really. When you think it, a lot of the action's actually been coming from the other direction, hasn't it?
Yes, it has, John. I mean, I think it can be when you play certainly a lot of games. If you get the draw on one side and you get a couple of guards, you get the speed. You know, and both teams, everybody tends to be a wee bit. You play what you know. If you know the ice on one side, you just keep playing that.
Plus, you've sometimes got to play with your scent. You know, it might be nice to go somewhere, but you've really got to try and either defend or attack, and you end up just about always going the same way for some reason.
Well, it's Gail playing the first of our skip stones, and it's coming down. Sweepers on it, and Lindsay's actually coming out to sweep it in all. So you've got the vice out sweeping it. It's light. It's definitely light. Oh, they didn't want as light as that. And it's certainly by the guard by quite a lot. So there is still a hole there to come through if you wanted to draw in.
Seemed to be quite straight there as well. There didn't seem to be that much draw to where the stone has actually landed up.
No, you're right there, John. It hasn't. And I mean, it certainly wasn't a big weight, so you'd have thought you'd have got a bit more draw, but whether they just called a wee bit too much ice or whether Gail maybe a wee fraction wide. This is from where we are sitting. We can't really see, you know, if the skips are absolutely spot on the brush or whether they're just slightly off. Although at this level, they very rarely play off the brush.
Aye, it's one of those at this level, at club level, you could say that the brush is really just a guide to where you want it to be.
I was just about to say that, yes. And I mean, I certainly always remind my skip if I play off that it's just purely a guide. Not that happens very often.
I'm sure that if there's a few people that you play with listening, that we're going to be inundated with things on Facebook with comments. And if you've got any comments, you'll send them to, I'll just tell you, Dumfries Curling on Facebook. And if you just want to put something in there, and David Owen will let us know and feed your comments to us. Just for anybody out there, it's Richard Smith from Lockerbie, who's doing a lot of commentating and providing his expertise to all you people out there.
Yep, thank you for that, John. Yes, this is, not sure if I'd say, this is my first time commentating, but I'm certainly enjoying it.
Well, we
Uh,
look forward to you coming back again.
Mhm.
You'll be quite welcome, Richard.
Great, thank you very much. But the good thing is we have had good games to commentate with a lot of stones in play. I mean, there's nothing worse than a game where it's just hit, and hardly any stones in the play. We've certainly had a lot of stones in play. Partly that's down to the ice, and partly it's down to the tactics of the skips and deciding to go aggressive and put lots of stones in. Well, this is Gail just playing her last shot. The sweepers are on it. It's halfway down. She's trying to draw another one in. And they're watching it just now. Make sure it's by the guards. The weight looks good. Is it a wee bit heavy? She got to get a wee run back. Just hit just for that, certainly I would say second shot.
And she's given the opposition a wee bit confidence there. There's a big back there for them now.
Yeah, you're right there, John. I mean, I think Gail's shots come further than she would have wished. She would have preferred to be at the front of the 8 foot there, but it's come all the way back, and now there's quite a big target for Jennifer Martin in blue to come through the hole and just sit on those 2 yellows at the back. If she does do that, she'll get 1. Just having a look to see if she can get them out to but there's
jamming.
Yeah, there's not a jam on to, there's not a hit on to get them out to take a 2, so she's just going for her 1.
And she's played some nice shots up here, Jennifer. So it's not as if she doesn't know the road in. They seem quite happy.
Yep, that looks a good shot. Yep, right in for blue 1. So that's Jennifer Martin taking a 1. So that's taking her up to 5 shots. So that's Gail Monroe from Stranraer on 6 shots and Jennifer Martin from Galleon currently on 5 shots. So after 6 ends here at the Ice Bowl in Dumfries in the first game of the Scottish Curling Women's Championship, the Cooperative Funeral Care Scottish Women's Championship, they are only 1 shot between them. We'll just go along the scoreboards. We see that the other teams are back on. Hannah Fleming against Marshall, and that is 4 shots to Fleming and 2 shots to Marshall. And in the Aitken game, Aitken against Weavers game, it's currently 3 shots to Gina Aitken, and Lorna Weavers is on 6 shots. But our featured game tonight is Gail Monroe from Stranraer against Jennifer Martin from Galway.
It's been a good game so far, good game to watch from here, and hopefully anybody that's either watching it now or watches it later on, I'll appreciate that both teams have been playing well. Sometimes there have been mistakes made, but quite even. Gail was down at the beginning, and it looked as if it was going to be a bit one-sided, but experience came into it, and possibly some errors on the opposition side, and the result is that Gail's climbed up, and the last 2 or 3 ends have been more or less a bit even. Would you say, Richard?
Yes, certainly. I would say it could have went either way, with both teams still making the odd mistake and just allowing the other opposition back into it. I mean, that last shot there, Jennifer Martin's first shot, just biting the house, and that allowed obviously Gail Monroe to hit it, because if it had been just short of the house with the free guard zone, it would have had to have stayed. But certainly Lorna McMillan for the Stranraer team hitting it and rolling over the front of the house, and you can see it's just biting at the front there.
Do you think we'll get a change of tactics? I mean, this is us now into the 7th end. Obviously, starting to get into the last quarter or last third of this competition or this game, do you think we're going to see a major change in tactics, or will they just continue the way they've been doing?
I would say both teams will just continue with what they're doing, with it only being one shot difference. You know, both teams have taken, you know, Martin's team took a 2 and then stole a 2, and Gale's team taking a 1 and then stealing a 4. So both their tactics have been working. So I think they'll both keep similar tactics. You know, a few guards in play, try to come round them. And we can see here, again, we've got a long guard. Gale just trying to come round it. Is this heavy? Is it just got to run out the back?
That's away.
Yep, just Jennifer working it, just getting out the back, is it? Oh, and she's looking at...
Just hanging on the line, I would say, yeah.
Just hanging on the line at the back, but probably not in the house to score a shot. And you can see that Jennifer Martin just calling the blue shot just to try and draw around the long guard at the front.
And there's the first of 5 games that the teams will play this weekend, and really both teams will be looking to get an early win. It just sets you up a wee bit better tonight, and a smile on your face when you go to wherever you're staying, and also makes you feel better tomorrow.
It certainly does that. It's always good to get a win early in the board and play in any of these competitions, and especially when it is 5 games this weekend. You know, do you think that a team will go away from here 5-0 come Sunday night?
Don't think so. I'd be very surprised, having watched the teams and seeing how relatively close they are. There's no big breakaways here. When you look at the ones that's playing at this moment in time, so nobody standing out, in my view, as being exceptionally strong compared to anybody else.
No, exactly. I agree with that. I mean, I think you could have maybe a couple of teams in 4-1, or even a team in 4-1, and then a couple of teams on 3-2. You know, very close, and that's always good for the sport to have teams very close and still everything to play for.
I was watching some of the Europeans, and even there, it's surprising how when you look at, well, certainly you look at the Scottish girls and that, they were really playing well and very few mistakes, you know, but there were some other teams that, you know, the commentators were making, provided a viewpoint that too many errors, you know, and it was interesting just to hear, even at the Europeans, how there was such a big difference in playing abilities.
Oh, certainly. I mean, we think of the Europeans as the elite, you know, the best throughout Europe. But even at that level, when you go down to the teams that are 3rd and 4th and 5th, you know, they are finishing with a record of, you know, 4-5 or 5-4. So I mean, they are still losing 4 games, and there have been some quite big scores. I mean, certainly one that I noticed through the week was in the men's, where it was Scotland, Dave Murdoch's team against the Swedes, you know, Erin, the world champion, and midway through it was pretty nip and tuck, and then Dave managed to take a 5 off him. So I mean, you can see that 5s at that level, you know, are quite... I didn't actually see the end, so I don't know what happened, but when you think big scores like that, obviously the Swedes must have made a total mess of that end to lose a 5 at that kind of level.
The other thing as well is that at that level, shots that you and I would perhaps not look at, they are quite willing to say do a double or a triple in that, and all of a sudden 3 shots that were maybe lying good have all disappeared, and you've got these ones lying on the outside that are counting. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, some of these teams that they can hit, you know, when they do play a strike, their strikes are so much harder and so much more accurate. I can always remember for years Hammy McMillan from Stranraer had such a big hit that I can remember games where you'd be playing against him, build a nice head, and think you were looking good, and then he would just come out with a really heavy strike, lift 3 or 4 years, and suddenly you were lying 2 against. Yeah,
it shows you, didn't it? Anyway, that was a bit of an error there. It looking to hit and roll, I presume, on the front blue there, slipped past it and out the back there. So
Yep, so currently it'll be blue line 1. That's the blue in the top of the 12 foot to the left-hand side. But you've got those 3, possibly 4 yellow Stranraer stones all round about the edge, the wingers, and they can be quite dangerous because, of course, if they do manage to get the blue out, you know, they could come into play. And especially with Gail having the hammer in this end, you know, she'll be hoping to come to play to have just one against. Oh, and we've got another mistake from Martin there. They'll be hoping to get that in, but not quite.
Nice close game now, Richard.
Yes, it is, certainly. Graham, it is close.
We've managed to find Maureen McKerrow across in the viewing lounge, watching the action out there. Maureen's heavily involved in the organising committee for the World Championships that are coming across in April. Maureen, you have spent many years in the curling world and watching all these games. What's your thoughts on the standard out there tonight?
Well, I'm just very, very impressed. The standard just seems to get higher and higher. The quality of curling, specifically in the ladies, is just fabulous.
And obviously you're working behind the scenes with the organising committee for the World Championships. You want to give us a wee plug for your hospitality side of it?
Yes, I'm getting very excited about the World Championships coming to Dumfries, and of course I'm organising the hospitality side of it, and we've got a fabulous dinner in place at Easterbrook Hall with the Dangleberries, who are very like the chili hot pipers. And we've got great sponsors and supporters, and we're looking for a full night with, well, lots of exciting things I can't tell you about. You'll have to come before you discover what they all are.
Dangle the carrot. And anything that you would say to any companies out there listening to us that might be interested, how they could come and get involved?
Well, just give us a call or go on the website and get in touch, because it's a great opportunity. It's not happened in Scotland before, the mixed doubles World Championship, so great opportunity for anyone local or even national to get involved.
Well, thank you very much, Maureen. We hope you enjoy the rest of these games as they come to a close, and we wish you well in your planning of the hospitality side of the event. What you've been telling me sounds very interesting indeed. Hopefully I can get on the invite list.
What you mean is buy the ticket list?
Well, I was kind of angling at VIP, but we'll take a ticket.
I know you'll take a ticket, but will you buy one?
Well, you know, these events might never come back into Scotland, so I think you've got to make the effort and the opportunity to be part of it.
Okay.
It's really exciting times for the region. You know, we're fortunate that we've got 3 ice rinks in this region: Lockerbie, Stranraer and Dumfries, and it should make a big impact on all the ice rinks, and there's a great opportunity for people to come and volunteer in the event, and they can get in touch with us and be part of the event and help support the running of it. So these games are now moving into the near the end of it now. The teams have been working hard early stages to try and get their noses in front, but and you can see there up on our screen how to get involved: www.dumfriescurling.co.uk if you're interested, and there's tickets on sale now as well, so you can even come and watch the event if you so please.
Getting back to the game there, a bit of an error there from Gail Monroe's side. Played to take the blue up, but caught the front guard there. Although it looks nice at the back there, maybe not so good in reality, Richard.
No, exactly. I mean, we've still got the blue in play, and now Jennifer can try and get another blue in play. She's trying to draw round the right-hand side, the 2 guards at the top. I mean, the other option she would have is to try and freeze one at the back, because, you know, you've got those 3 yellows at the back. If Gail managed to get her blue out, there could be a big end in this for Gail Monroe. It looks a pretty good draw from Jennifer though. Just sticking it, yep, just about perfect. I mean, they're level, so there's not a double on there. Either side of the 4 foot, and it's looking better for Jennifer, but that was a real pressure draw there. She really had to make it to get it half buried and level.
And she did it well. I mean, in fairness to her, and as you say, just to get it exactly where she wanted. If she dropped it a wee bit short on that, it would have maybe allowed Gail to have done a double and hid behind it, you know. So, sorry, not a double, hit and roll behind it.
But now it looks as Gail's just going to hit the blue. Just got to try and hit the Martin shot, and she will be trying to hit and just try and roll over behind the guards on the left hand side as you look at it. The shot is away. Sweepers are just starting to sweep it up. Sweepers are on it. It's not far away. No, just on the outside. Well, she just caught that on the outside. She wanted to catch it on the other side and get a roll. In fact, was that the last shot? And yes, it was. So that was a mistake there from Gail. She was going for the hit and roll in to get shot, but she didn't quite make it. So a steal of 1 for Jennifer Martin, and that takes it back to Peels. 6-6 after 7 ends, so still everything to play for.
A really bad mistake there when you think about it. I mean, I really just not look for at this stage in the game as well.
We're getting more critical now. We're getting nearer the end of the game, eh?
It's not being unfair. It's just I'm sure that Gail will probably feel that way herself. So.
Absolutely. Just she'd be looking to just try and keep that 2-shot lead. But on the other side of it, you know, she's only lost a 1. It was the 7th end. So now she's got the even ends in a 10-end game. You know, she's got a chance now to score 2 in the 8th end, which would put her 2 up with 2 to go. So that would be a nice position as well. So again, just with that experience in the team, I don't think that'll bother her too much. So we'll just see what the tactics are going to be adopted by Team Martin now that we're into the closing stage of this game. Are they going to try and force the steal again here, or are they going to start playing it into the house? Let's just see what the skip indicates here. Sweepers are not really touching it.
It's strange how things change. I mean, we've seen this game change, and when I'm looking at the other 2 games on sheet D and sheet E, I see that Hannah Fleming has now extended her lead, and in the 7th end, she's lying, I think it's 8-2, and on sheet D, Lorna Vivers as now I think it must be about 7-3. So in the space of a couple of ends, where we had the scores quite even, they've one team in each rank seems to have just taken over. So interesting to see how those progress.
That 5th end break with the chat with the coach, you know, they maybe just turned it up a notch or 2. The coach has maybe just given them a few words of encouragement and you know, just made them try and increase their intensity levels, really focus more when they're in the hack playing their shots, and just trying to execute a little bit more and get a higher percentage of shot making. And you know, with these top teams, it makes all the difference. So I think that's why we're now seeing, you know, the 2 teams pulling ahead. But this game is going to go to the wire that we're focusing on here. You know, neither team is going to give it away too easily now, I wouldn't think. And if the game's tied at 10, then we're going to go to an extra end as well. So that could become more interesting as well. And there you can see now the scores ticking along the bottom.
So Lorna McMillan getting ready to play her shot. Lorna playing for Gail Monroves from Rat, and on this occasion they've got the hammer.
So Gail calling another corner guard, or did she call in the house? should really be watching what we're commentating on, eh?
I was watching the delivery actually. So.
Looks like they're called another corner guard there. So we could see a few more shots in play again this end. Gail looks quite happy out on the ice. Relaxed, she's been in this situation many a time.
And it's a long weekend as well.
It is, they've got another 2 games tomorrow and 2 games on Sunday, so 5 rounds this weekend. And then they get a wee break before they continue the championship up in Perth.
So just a reminder, this is the Cooperative Funeral Care. It's the Scottish Curling Women's Championship. It's the first leg of it. The next leg is at your Centre Perth on Monday the 10th.
10th of February through to the 16th.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a nice shot there round the top guard. Good weight control, landed on the button. And the Monroe team are going to try and push this shot back. Sweepers have been called on early. I think we'll find that this one's going to pull onto the blue, but if they catch it, okay, they could put 2 yellows in here. There's 1 yellow in, there's 2 yellows in. Now that's a nice result. Christmas has come early there.
You think that Gail maybe spotted that as it was coming up and just worked it a wee bit more?
Here we can see it again. I think she's probably got that in the back of her mind. And you can see the sweepers are alert there as well, just making sure the second stone goes in.
Right.
So that could be a big turning point in this end. There's 1 stone on the button. Team Martin are going to now try and out-count the 2 yellows.
If Gail just keeps the centre open and just keeps
this one
everything
looks
clean.
This one looks a little high, John. The line's just a little bit high here. They could have done with that just to curl a little bit more. So they've decided to leave it a bit shorter. Didn't pull that one right into position. It wasn't quite on the correct line, so they've left it a little higher. Just protecting their shot stone.
No great big heavy weights trying to take a double there.
Sweeping this, they must be quite close.
Looks straight.
Oh, unlucky.
Mm-hmm. Not what she was looking for, but I'm sure she would have accepted it if they'd nicked the centre one out as well.
Well, it was always on the cards if they hit it reasonably straight back. It was always close to the double. So the good, there's opportunities here for a good score. There's yellows on either side of the centre line that can be raised in if they need to be.
Where would you go, Richard, now?
Well, certainly the Martin team's bringing the shot in. It's just got a stopping time, is it? Yep. Although it's maybe come a wee bit too deep. And now there's almost a double on for Gail Monroe now. If they lift a double, and they could well be line 3.
Again, it just shows you how this game has went backwards and forwards. Just on the turn of the dice, really, isn't it?
Yep, Lindsay Cumming played the shot there. It's away, the sweepers are on it. They're calling it all the way. Sweepers are still on it. It's coming into the house now.
Good way.
It's looking good, certainly for 1. She got the double. Oh, just missed out in the double.
No wonder she's laughing.
Yep, Gail's having a wee chuckle about that. But equally, the shooter just rolled over to the side of the house now. So, if they can get the blue Martin shot out, Gail's looking good for a couple of shots, yes. This is Hazel Smith playing the Vice Blue Rocks.
Do you think Jennifer will be getting a wee bit concerned by just how close things have been getting to taking her shot out, and now there's these 3 yellows hanging about on the outside? And
I think she will be concerned that there are 3 yellows on the outside, because that's always a worry. That all it needs is one really good shot. You know, they either go for a hit long. Yep, she's saying drive that in, and if they do get it right, you could certainly have 3 shots. But equally, Martin's in the situation that she has got the shot, and as long as she keeps guarding it up with big long guards, she'll be looking okay. Sweepers on it again. Definitely one. Definitely.
Oh, no.
Now that could be crucial. Although I think the blue on the outside will be third shot. I think it'll be the blue in the centre. Obviously, that's the first shot. The yellow behind the yellow on the left-hand side will be the second shot, and then the blue on the right-hand side will be the third shot. Certainly, from the way we look at it.
Just went all wrong, didn't it?
It did. I mean, that's always the risk when you're trying to hit 2 or 3 shots, though, particularly when you're angling them in, that you can always just get the angle slightly wrong, and before you know where you are, something's bounced into the house. So they'll just be going for another long guard here. Or will they even try to be bringing one in? Because that would be the option. Either if you can get one perfectly round the guard on top of the 8 foot, half guarded. Nearly a stone from the next rink coming into play, but they managed to catch it. No, they're just going for the long guard, and it looks pretty good. Maybe even get a wee bounce off it. Yeah, just a wee bounce. Yep.
No,
not quite.
No,
Not
I
quite.
think it just. I think that you can still get round there, maybe hack to light barrier weight and
I think you can, John. Yep.
take that one.
I think if they'd managed to bring it on and get a wee bounce, just a quarter of a stone over, it would have been much better. But now
So a wee
it's
bit lighter.
now it's up to Gail Monroe to come down, as John said, just either a kind of back ring or a barrier weight. By the guards, get quarter, half the blue stone, and push it out to the right hand side.
This is quite a difficult shot because too heavy and you could maybe just float past the side of it. Too light and you're just going to end up with the draw taking you onto the guards.
It is, exactly. It is a difficult shot. But equally, that's why the skips get paid the big bucks.
Alright, you mean they get their name first before everybody else?
Well, something like that.
They get to organise it, they get to put the entry fee in, arrange the accommodation, arrange the transport. Aye.
I don't know, you must be playing with different skips. My skips certainly don't do any of that. Oh!
Well, that was one of the things we talked about, wasn't it?
Yep, just up the weight a wee bit and it just sailed past, just missing it.
That could be an expensive mistake.
It certainly could. Now, for Martin here, would you go for the draw into the house?
Well, you could even put just one, lock one straight onto the top of there, couldn't you?
You could also play the double on the 2 yellows and roll across, you'd be line 3. Just to throw another angle at it. I think
Guard or lock.
I think the right shots to play in, follow the line down.
Oh, it's on the
It's
front.
narrow. Wow. It's a nice position now.
Nah, but it's still there for
Yeah, tap
There you
back
go.
still there.
and just drop your weight a wee bit. And probably not by that much. Richards is getting his payment at this moment in time for coming and helping us out. In that, he's been given a packet of Maltesers. We're quite a rich environment up here.
Got to keep the energy levels up, John.
He was starting to wane a wee bit there, and we were a bit concerned that he might not come back.
So, Gales and Hack on our way. Stones released. Sweepers are not on it.
We have to get it past the front.
Looks okay line.
And if they don't get,
Just
is it
needs
going
to
to jam
finish
in
now.
there?
Just needs to finish now. Just a touch heavy.
And 2. 2. So that's Jennifer Martin. Now 8-6 up. That's very expensive.
Yep, 2 ends to go. Just a little firm on the throw. And we can see the game that we're going to be featuring tomorrow morning. 10 o'clock start. We've got Hannah Fleming against Kerry Barr. So this is our predictions. This could be the final later on in the season in February. This could be the first chance that we get to see these two teams battling it out. Obviously it's double round robin, so they're going to play each other again anyway. But it might be interesting just to see who comes out on top of that game.
So Gail's got the score up there, and again she's got the hammer in this the 9th end of this 10 end game. A lot of pressure on her this time.
Yeah, she's probably a little frustrated, I would think. She's done a lot of work to get back into this game earlier on, and that was maybe just an uncharacteristic error there. Just overthrew it slightly.
So now we've got the first shot just coming down. This is the Martin team. Obviously with them winning the last end, they've got the first shot, and they're just dropping a short guard. Or are they trying to get it in? Nope, just swept to perfection, just short of the house. So a nice short guard there, and Gail's calling the draw round it. Given quite a lot of ice, as you can see, as we've mentioned before, this is quite swingy ice tonight. Keen and swingy. So that's Lorna McMillan just playing the lead shots for Gail Monroe. And that certainly is a Stranraer local team. All the girls are from Stranraer. Obviously known each other for many, many years. And I think they actually wanted that in the house, did they? But it's
I think
not
they wanted
quite.
that one to come round. The Sweepers were on it fairly early, and I think they decided just to let that one come to rest on its own.
Yeah, but certainly when they're trying to build a reasonable head and get a couple of shots here, they're quite happy with a couple of guards at this point. Now Martin's just called for the draw-in. Just a wee update on some of the other scores. Hannah Fleming against Marshall, and that's Hannah Fleming is on 8, and Marshall just took a 1 there to go on to 3 shots. So Hannah Fleming certainly seems in control of that game there. And in the other game of Aitken versus Beavers, the score is Lorna Beavers just got a 1 in the last end to take it to 7-4. No, I'm sorry, Aitken just took a 1 to take it to 7-4. So again, Lorna Beavers are in control of that game there with 2 ends remaining.
So Lorna McMillan again trying to come round that front stone. Is it going to sneak past? It has. It just needs to get a biter. Lovely shot.
Yep, just in the front there. That was a nice wee by the guard and just biting the house, although it's only second shot just now because of the Martin Bluestone at the back of the 12 foot.
Well swept there again. It just shows how much effort the team put in. It's a real team sport. You know, they can guide the stones down to where they want them.
And they've just decided to change side. They're going to the other side of the house this time. Again, they're watching it. Sweeper's just keeping it clean, ready to get on. As it's coming in nice now, just by the guards, and then they're just bringing it as far as they can. Top of the 4 foot. Nice shot from the Martin team there. Nice blue shot. And Gail Monroe just calling the draw there, just to try and draw on top of the blue shot. Yep, Sweeper's on it. They're following it down. Is it onto the guard? I don't think it's by the first guard, is it?
They're still holding it.
Just
No.
Nope, just a wee kiss off the front guard.
Commentator's eye there, Richard. You were on that like a hawk.
I'm not sure if a hawk's the right thing, but I certainly thought it was just going to nick it, and it did.
Eagle?
Possibly. So now's the Martin team calling for they've upped their weight a bit.
Yeah,
They're trying to hit one of the yellows out.
Yeah.
In fact, they try to hit and roll over on the other yellow. Yep, that's quite a good shot there. Just cutting the yellows down, but that's left Gail the chance of a double now. And if they do lift the double,
Triple on?
well, there is the one at the back, which you could either lift it out of the house. Of course, the danger is the jam, that one of the blues goes back and jams on it.
I think the key here is they try and keep their own yellow stone in. Just give themselves a chance to work with a few shots. And they maybe just haven't been getting the rubs tonight. They know they're just a couple of inches here or there. They've just been scraping past the doubles. They've just been a little unfortunate, I would say. And we've got our first game completed across in the Fleming against Marshall match. The two teams have decided to call it a night and shaking hands, and the winners there are the Hannah Fleming rink. Final score was around about 8-3, perhaps a couple more. But that's the first game of the evening complete, and that was a reasonably high quality game. Lots of nice shots and play there.
Well, so obviously, Graham, I think I'm quite happy with that result. My tip early on, Hannah Fleming having a good convincing win. So currently, since it's the first game finished, she'll be sitting top of the table.
I've got no comeback to that.
I missed it.
John's smiling too.
I missed it. No, I missed it.
Your team won their first game.
Uh-huh.
Lovely shot there. Is the
Yes.
yellow going to spin in? Not quite, but a lovely shot. Removes the stone from the 4 foot. And the blue stone at the back is open, so there's a chance of getting to that. So there's still a lot of curling left. Here's a wee replay of that nice double. Again, if the luck had been going with them, the top stone would have rolled in. There'd have been a little biter with the yellow. So the Martin team are looking to throw the 4 foot here. They've got a little bit high line. Line's a little high here. It's
Need
finishing.
to let it go so it'll finish in behind there, don't they?
How's the speed? Looks pretty good. Just deciding maybe to take this one a little further back to get it covered. No. In the open, so little hit and roll. Either way, in behind the corner guard might lift the double. Gail just checking the angles.
not giving any ice at all, really.
Again, that extra weight. This is a heavy shot coming up. Again, not far away, but they've lost their shooter. They should perhaps have been trying to keep that.
So they're going to try the same again, are they, Graham? Trying to maybe hide it a wee bit better, or are they
Same
going another
again.
way?
Same again, just try and get a little better line this time. Get it tucked in.
Have they taken more ice, though? Are they going to drop their
I think it's similar.
weight? Go for a better draw in the last maybe couple of metres or something.
Sweepers are on it, and they're working quite hard on this one actually.
That's got good pace, though.
Both sweepers
Well,
are really
I thought it had.
putting the effort in on this. The line looks really good.
Right.
Just a little shy of weight there, just to get it right in behind.
Probably actually the way it is, if Gail gets it right here, she could get the double and still lie. I'm saying if Gail gets us right, she could get the double and lie.
They've certainly had a few attempts at doubles tonight, and the luck's just not been with them. The wee curling rubs that you need during the games, just not quite been with them tonight, so they'll be hoping for a wee change of fortune here. If they could lift a double, they'd be really sitting quite nice to get the advantage back in this game. They gave it up in the last end. No sweeping at the moment. Let's see how close it looks.
Looks a bit
Oh, is
high.
it going to get it? Yep. At the same ice again, John?
No, it's drawn it in.
They just need to
Drawn it
throw
in by
away-
at least maybe a bit, don't know,
throw another
8 or 10
another
inches.
foot of weight just to get it right into the top of the 4-foot.
Well, if they can get it hidden, I mean, force Gail to draw for a 1.
Again, another
Uh,
key shot. You'd think this is straightforward, but this is a key shot in the game. They can't afford to come up short. Can't afford to miss the house here. Otherwise, the blue at the back is open for a tap back for 3. Sweepers not too concerned at the moment.
No, it's looking
Line
good.
looks a little high again.
I think it'll draw just at the end there, maybe.
It's coming in nicely.
No.
The double's still there, I think. Double's still there for 3. Again, as long as they hit and stick, they stay in the game. They don't want to be losing a 1 here. Hit
Right,
and
but
stick.
But does Gail make certain of the 1? Or does she try it for the double?
We'll find out. If she scores a 1, she played for the 1. If she lifts the double, she played for the double.
For those listening, I'm sure you can understand that Mr. Sloan is maybe getting a wee bit tired. He's had a long day and he's becoming a wee bit flippant.
But he is getting rejuvenated because he's now getting into the the Maltesers.
Be careful in that, otherwise Richard might decide not to come back.
So Gail's played her last shot. It's on the way down. They're watching it. Sweepers are watching it. They're not on it just now. They've just been called on it. They're sweeping. They're sweeping. It's tight to the guard. It's by the guard. Just
Oh,
one shot.
could we see that again?
So that was Gail Monroe just lifted a 1 to take the score to 8-7 to Martin. Very close to the guards. Just wondering why they didn't sweep that earlier if it was that close. Because they certainly didn't go into the sweeping until it was at least 2/3 of the way up. So they must have been quite confident that it was going to get by the guards. But when you watched the replay, you thought it didn't get by the guard by much.
I think there'd be a few heartbeats increasing there anyway.
And of course, if she had wrecked on the guard and lost a 2, that would have made it,
Game over.
4 shots behind going down the last.
Shake hands and go home,
But she didn't. She took the 1. So currently it's Jennifer Martin 1 shot up, down the last, without the hammer. And that's always a debate. Would you rather be 1 shot up without the hammer, or the 1 shot down with the hammer?
Thanks for passing me the mic there, John. I thought you might take that one. Before we discuss and debate that, Sheet D, Beavers against Aitken. That game has now come to an end, and the victory goes to Team Beavers. So that's them off the mark as well. So, 1 up with or 1 down without? Was that the question?
That was the question, yes.
I think you would prefer to have last stone. So 1 down with would be my preferred option. Try and score your 2. If not, you've got your 1 to go into an extra end. And you're going to try and play aggressive to try and get your 2, but keep in mind that as long as you keep the 4 foot open to draw for your 1 if you need it, you're guaranteed your extra end then. So my choice would be 1 down with and try and score the 2. How about yourself?
Yeah, well, thanks for that, Graham. I think a lot depends on how your front end's been playing. If your lead has been playing really well and putting the guards on, and your second's been playing well, you can get a couple of good guards on and then get something round it to try and protect. I would rather be 1 up without the hammer, as long as my front end had been playing well.
The only trouble is that I think the difference is between whether you're playing club curling or whether you're playing at this level, And can I say to you that at the moment, Gail Monroe will be saying, I don't have the hammer and I'm 1 down.
She has, and quite often it's not a choice that you make. It's just a situation you end up in.
So, a lot of work on Gail's part to be done here, and tactics will come into it, and also just how the players are actually starting to feel after having played 9 ends. Both teams wanting to win the game. Gail maybe looking to even just force the draw on this end. She'll be quite happy to take 1. What she's not wanting to do is just lose it on this particular end.
So currently we've got 2 long guards, 2 yellow guards, and this is blue just drawing in, which is the Martin team. So that's Martin line 2 with 2 Monroe guards out the front, and Gail's just calling the draw in.
At the moment you would say advantage Monroe. Even though they're lying 2 shots against there, they've got pole position with the guards up front, and the Martin team haven't managed to find the 4 foot with the first 2 shots there. So if the Monroe team can throw this one in top 4, take control of the end, they're obviously looking for the steal. This one looks reasonably good line. How's the speed?
Good line, it's by the guards by a bit, it's coming in nicely.
Just needs to finish. Just a little out there.
Yep, so now kind of swings back to Martin. If they can get a really good shot just in and almost maybe just touch off that yellow one and just get half hidden, or are they going to rip the guards off? I think they've decided to rip the guards off.
It's a funny old game this, isn't it?
It is, yes. Funny old game. So we've got a strike, try to lift the guards.
If she's wide of the guard, she'll take the shot out, just as you called, Richard. Just as you called, Richard. Commentator's eye. Oh, and Gail's shaking her head. Can you believe it?
I think that was always the option, though. If you had been a wee fraction wide, or if you were a wee bit tight, you were going to lift a guard. So it was almost you had a plan A and you had a plan B there. So we've now got Kerry Ann Taylor for Gail's team playing yellow shot down.
Just trying to repeat her last throw, really. She's just trying to come back down into that same area.
She is, yes. Although she almost tried to get a bounce off the blue stone.
Good line
No,
again.
yep,
Can
good
they hold
line.
it? Can they hold it past the top stone? Oh, it's a good one. Has it come in far enough?
It'll be pretty close for who shot there.
And you can see they're now trying to attack the 4 foot to get one in there quickly. Martin has decided that these guards need to come off again. I don't know if they'll be as fortunate if they come past the side of it this time. Sweepers are not on it.
And this is where one big shot can turn it either way. She's got one of the guards, yep. And her
So
shooter's rolled out.
what's your call now, Richard?
If you're yellow shot, I would put another long guard on.
I think you might find that's exactly what we've been asked. Then maybe we're going to try and run a couple of stones out here, throw a guard on, let them take it off, and then maybe try and come in with your last shot to tap the yellow to the button.
Yep, exactly. I mean, if you're looking at it just now, I mean, it's pretty close for who's actually shot. The angle we've got, I wouldn't actually like to say, although it could be either way.
We're just going to try and get a little closer and get a good sight of it.
But of course, the danger with yellow putting another guard on is if they guard it up, and they only have to, they can't get to the 4 foot. They can only take a 1.
This one needs to stop. It's maybe just coming a wee bit too far up. This could leave the double rip on the guard. Double rip on the guard perhaps is still there.
Yep, I think that's
There
what
we
they've
go.
called.
We can
Yep.
have a wee look now, perhaps. We can see the yellow stone. We just can't quite get to the blue stone. Sorry, folks. You'll have to hang in suspense. So again, this is a chance to really take control of this end if they can lift both these yellow guards off and roll out the way as well.
Yeah, because
there's no cover left.
yeah, the key is for the shooter to roll out the way as well. Shots away, halfway down. Sweeper's following it, but not sweeping it as yet.
I think it's just getting the one, Richard.
Just getting the 1, yes.
And we can now get a good look. Oh, it's blue.
I would say blue sitting shot there, yes. So at some point, yellow is going to have to come down and hit that out.
I think we'll see.
Are they doing it now?
I think we'll see another long guard, and I think that the Martin team will continue to try and knock this Yellowstones off. They can't afford to throw a guard up because there's still a draw round on the in-turn right to the button to be covered. So we throw a long guard, it'll get knocked off by the Martin team, and then on the last stone of Gail Monroe's, I think she would then look to come in and just promote that yellow into the button. Again, this one's still running on. The ice is holding up well tonight. The ice is still running on. A little bit better. A little bit of distance between the yellows.
If you're blue, though, at what point do you decide you'll take another double? Or could you even decide, well, I'll just try and freeze on my blue? Or would that just be too aggressive?
I'm sure there's people out there with opinions, but I think if they just keep knocking these stones out, it means their last shot's going to be a little bit easier than it would be if they leave the guards on. They want to try and have minimal cover to contend with on that last stone. So at the moment, we've only got the one guard up there. I think that this is the same ice as the last shot, so we're looking at another guard here, and then Jennifer Martin will have to try and remove it or draw around the other side, and then Gail will try the wee promotion on the yellow.
Well, that's if she gets a guard on. But all she needs is one to draw a wee bit too far, and then that would open the door for Martin to get back in again. Yep, this is Gail playing her first shot. It's away. Halfway down, sweepers are on it. Sweepers are working away on it. As yet, I can't see where it's... It looks pretty good, would you say, Graham?
Speed looks okay. The only thing is they don't want to cover too much of their own yellow, or they might not be able to get to it. So I wonder. Well, that's right, John. John's just in the background there, suggesting that maybe don't need to move the yellow if they can get to the blue. Team Martin here are deciding that this is a chance to throw the guard up. This is a brave call because there's still a draw around the intern right to the button to be covered. If you get covered, you've then got a tough job of getting it back out.
But yeah, I mean, another guard on for the blue, although they have another look at the shot, so maybe they're not convinced who's actually shot.
Now,
Yep, if they put a guard on there...
there's only one shot left.
Yep. And then there's always the draw to the other side, but it's still a draw right down at the 4 foot.
Yep. I think there's possibly even a tap on that top blue onto the yellow, onto the blue, just at draw weight, just enough to nudge it forward, promote the yellow into shot. I think if they throw a guard here, Gail Monroe's got to be coming down the other side with her last shot.
Yeah, that's the obvious shot, Graham. If they do guard up the right-hand side, you've still got the draw to the left. But they're thinking about it. The skip, Jennifer, is up in the hack. They're having a wee look at it. They're thinking about it again.
Do they have timeouts here?
Are they... Can we get a update on the time clocks? Are the time clocks okay? And you've just had an update that the time clocks are okay, so they have got time to think about this shot.
I wondered whether they might call the coach down, but I don't know whether they're actually having timeouts, but I suppose they will be if they've got clocks running. So maybe decided that they know what they're doing here.
Shots away.
To the shot.
This is the first shot from Jennifer Martin.
Look quite firmly
Blue's
thrown
coming
there.
down. Sweepers are on it.
Firmly thrown. You can see it coming down. It's got a good line. This one's going to have to curl.
It's wide just now.
It looked quite an aggressive throw, that one. Just on release, it looked quite firm. Maybe just sent it back on the line a little. So we've now got two options. Do they come down and tap the yellow, or do they draw around and just go straight for the button?
Going for the hit in the blue, I think.
Or do they hit
Yep.
the blue? Three options.
Hit the blue and just try and get a wee roll on the inside. Now you just come this as a controlled weight. Just back of the 4 weight. Just try and come down onto it. Just catch it on the inside and fall into the 4 foot. But when you're coming down the controlled weight, you're just having to call it all the way, hoping to get the nice draw. The danger is if she ups the weight and just hangs wide.
And you need nerves of steel for this one.
Yep. Or if it draws too much, you wreck on the guard. This is Gail Monroe's last shot.
So this is the 10th end. Martin 8-7 up with hammer. So this last shot from Gail Monroe is key to keep them in the game. She's throwing it. The sweepers are not on it yet. It looks pretty close.
Looks
Is
a
it
bit
going to get
high.
past
I think
the
it's
blue?
on the guard, but where's it going to end up?
If it the guard, it's going to come onto the yellow. It's done enough. Oh, but it's moved it into the open. It's in the open, so lion shot, but it's in the open.
Well, I think we can certainly say that wasn't the shot that was called.
And again, though, if the rubs had been going with them, that yellow would have stayed tucked in behind, but it's just the wee rubs tonight haven't gone the Monroe's team's way, so that one's popped out into the open.
And now Jennifer Martin just has to make a hit and moves it out, and of course she's line second shot, so as long as she gets the yellow out, she will win. But equally, if she doesn't, the worst that's going to happen is it's going to go to an extra end.
Last stone of the game, it's on its way.
Sweepers are on it.
She's not taking too much time at all. The sweepers are on it. Cleaning it. They like it. It's good.
Sweepers on
It's
it.
good.
The season off.
It's
good.
Nice shot to finish the game. Scores a 2 and wins the game. Handshakes offered. Excellent game there tonight. Some lovely shots. The game went back and forward both ways. The momentum ended up going with Team Martin into their favour. So that brings us to a conclusion of the night. And there we can see after the first round, Fleming, Beavers and Martin all go on to 1 win and 0 losses. The Bar team had a bye tonight, so they'll play their first game tomorrow. And Monroe, Aitken and Marshall will be hoping to pick up a victory. This is unofficial, as the umpires will be checking all the results. And we'd just like to thank you for watching tonight, and I'll leave Richard with the final words of wisdom.
Well, I hope you've all enjoyed this thoroughly entertaining game tonight. As Graham said, it did swing both ways, with Martin getting off to a start and then Gail Monroe coming right back into it. But there was some excellent shots, excellent play, some excellent tactical decisions, and you could see the ice was making it very, very good for the players to play a nice drawing game. I've just got tomorrow, anybody that's about, Saturday at 10 a.m, draw 2 of this Scottish Curling Women's Championship, and it's Team Fleming against Team Bar, and they're the teams you can see up on the screen just now. So with that, I will say goodbye from Dumfries Ice Bowl, and I will leave John to say goodbye.
Goodbye. I hope you all enjoyed it, and hopefully you'll listen to what we're saying tomorrow. Okay, bye.